In this video, we're going to look at some interesting compound shapes which are made from a square attached to a regular polygon. But before we can do that, we need to start by checking that you remember what regular polygons are. So please pause the video and do these questions. Press play once you've done them. You should have now done these questions. I'm going to go through them. Please mark and correct your work as we go through them. So we'll start with, what is a regular hexagon? So there's two parts to this. There's the word regular and there's the word hexagon. So a hexagon is a six-sided shape. The regular part, if you've not yet written down what you think regular means, say what you think regular means to the video now. The correct answer is all sides are the same length. So a regular hexagon is a six-sided shape with all sides the same length. So a regular hexagon looks something like this. Obviously those lines should be straight, but I'm just drawing a rough sketch. So all six of those sides are the same length, so I'm using those little dashes to show that all of those sides are the same length. A regular pentagon is a five-sided shape with all sides the same length. So that looks something like this. So all of those sides are the same length. There's five of them. A regular triangle is going to be a three-sided shape where all sides are the same length. So that's going to look something like this. An eight-sided shape with equal sides would therefore be called a regular octagon. Now let's do some calculations. So for question 5, we need to find the side length of a square with area 49 centimeters squared. So imagine you have a square, and that square, so it's got all four sides the same. The area is 49 centimeters squared. What is area? Say your answer to the video. You should have said area is the space inside a 2D shape. Area is the space inside a 2D shape. So to get an area of 49, we've got to have whatever this side is times whatever this side is makes 49. So what times what is 49? So what number times itself is 49? What number, when you square it, is 49? What number squared is 49? Well, 7. So therefore, the side length of the square is 7 centimeters. Each of these two sides is 7 centimeters. That's 7 centimeters, that's 7 centimeters, that's 7 centimeters, and that's 7 centimeters. Out of interest, what is the perimeter of this square? Pause the video, work it out, press play once you've worked it out. You should have now worked out the perimeter of the square, and you should have found that it's 28 centimeters. There's two ways to do that. Either you can just add together all four sides, so 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7, or you could do 7 times 4, because there's 4 sides, each of length 7. Finally, question 6. So the square has an area of 169 millimeters squared, and we need to find the length A. So all that means is what is the length of each side. So we need to find what number, when you square it, makes 169. So the number must be the square root of 169, which is 13. It's millimeters, because this unit here was millimeters squared. So we need to know how to do that, how to go from the area of a square to the length of the side of the square. So when you're given the area of a square, how do you find the length of each side of that square? Say your answer to the video now. The shortest way to answer that question is you need to find the square root. So in question 5, we found the square root of 49, which was 7. And in question 6, we found the square root of 169, which was 13. We're going to be using that during this video. So let's have a look at an example question. So this one I'm going to do completely by myself. Pause the video to read the question. Press play once you've read it. You should have now read this question. So I'm told that a square has an area of 16 centimeters. So the square is this. So it's this shape here. This here is the square. And it's joined to a regular polygon to form a compound shape. First thing I'm going to do is find out what regular polygon it is. Because just knowing that it's a regular polygon, a polygon is a shape with plenty of sides, and it's regular, so all the sides are the same length. But what polygon is it? Is it a triangle? Is it a square? Is it a pentagon, a hexagon, a heptagon, an octagon, a nonagon, a decagon, a dodecagon, a hendecagon? What is it? So let's find out. So I'm going to start in a corner and I'm going to count the sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4, don't forget this one, 5, and I'm back to where I started. This is a 5-sided shape. So it's actually a pentagon. Okay, so I'm told that the square has an area of 16 centimeters squared. So this has an area of 16 centimeters squared. From that, I can work out the length of each side. Each side must be the square root of 16, which is 4. So this side is 4 centimeters, and this side is 4 centimeters. Now, if we actually look at the shape, you can see that this side here, so I'm going to delete the highlighting so that this is clear. So this side over here is going to be 4 centimeters. But so is this side here. So this side here is also 4 centimeters because that's also a side of the square. But it's a side of the square and a side of the rectangle. This here is a side of the square and, not of the rectangle, and of the pentagon. So that side there is a side of the square. It's the side of the square over there, and it's a side of the pentagon over there. It's a shared side, which means that we now know what the length of each side of the pentagon is. So because we worked out the length of each side of the square, we now know the length of each side of the pentagon. So each side has a length of 4. So now I know what every single side of the pentagon is. I know that this side is 4, this side is 4, and this side is 4, and all the other sides are 4 as well. So what I'm going to do is just rub out all my annotations. Now I know that every single side of this shape is 4. So from there to there, that's the side of the square, that's 4. From there to there, that's the side of the square, it's 4. From there to there, that's the side of the square, that's 4. This is also 4 because we've worked out that the side of each of the pentagon is also 4. And this is 4 as well, and this is 4 as well. And then all we need to do is count how many there are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the 7 sides, each side is 4 centimeters. So altogether, that makes 28 centimeters. That is the perimeter of the compound shape. Now, there was a few steps there. So I'm just going to review what I did. Step 1, I used the fact that the area of the square was 16 centimeters squared to work out the length of the side of the square. And I worked out that the side of the square was 4 centimeters. Because of that, I knew that every side of the square was 4 centimeters. And because of this shared side here, which is a side of the square and a side of the pentagon, I also knew that every side of the pentagon was 4 centimeters as well. Then I said, how many sides are there all together? And just multiplied that by 4 to work out the total perimeter. Because perimeter is, you should have said perimeter is the distance around a 2D shape. Perimeter is the distance around a 2D shape. Let's do an example together. Pause the video to read this question. Press play once you've read it. You should have now read this question. I'm going to lead you to what to do, but you're going to do a lot of the work yourself. So the first thing is, I'm told that the square has an area of 144 centimeters squared. If the square has an area of 144 centimeters squared, what can I now work out? Say your answer to the video. I can now work out the length of each side of the square. So what's the length of each side of this square? Say your answer to the video now. you should have said that each side of this square is the square root of 144, which is 12. In case you've forgotten, that's because 12 squared is 144. So this side is 12. So what's the length of this side here? Say your answer to the video now. This side is also 12, it's a square. Now we go to our shaded shape and we realize that this side over here, it's a side of the square, but what is it also a side of? Say your answer to the video now. You should have said that it's also a side of the regular polygon. But what regular polygon is it? Pause the video and work out what regular polygon is attached to this square. You should have now got an answer for which regular polygon is attached to this square. So let's have a look at it. So this is my regular polygon. And it has 6 sides. It's therefore a hexagon. So it's a hexagon. So what I found out is that the side of the square, each side is 12. That means because this here is a shared side, that means every side of the hexagon is also 12. So now I know the length of every single side of this shape, so I can get it in. So this side is 12, 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 and this side is 12. So altogether, if I start at this corner, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sides, each of length 12. 8 times 12, 96 centimeters. And that's the perimeter of the shape. So you're now going to try an example fully by yourself. Before you do that, if you don't feel confident, go back in the video, watch the 2 examples that we've done already again, and then move on. You should have now watched the video either once if you're confident, or you should have watched it twice if you're not as confident on this. And we're now going to move on to an example that you're going to do completely by yourself. Just before you do that, a reminder with the steps, you use the area of the square to work out the length of each side. Once you know the length of each side, you realize that this side here is a side of the square and a side of the polygon, and therefore you know the sides of the polygon are also 12 centimeters. And from that, you can then go and work out the perimeter, because perimeter is the distance around a 2D shape. Pause the video and try this example completely by yourself. Press play once you've done it. You should have now done this example completely by yourself. Please mark as I go through it. So we're told that the square has an area of 36 centimeters squared. Therefore, each side must be the square root of 36, which is 6. So each side of this square is 6 centimeters. Because of this shared side over here, I know that every side of the square is 6 centimeters, but I also know that every side of this pentagon is 6 centimeters as well. So altogether, how many sides do I have? So if I start over here, I have, let's do it in a different color. Let's do it in green. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 7 sides, each of length 6 centimeters. 7 times 6, 42 centimeters. And that's the perimeter of this shape. Mark your answer. Correct it if necessary. Pause the video while you do that and press play once you're ready. You should have now fully marked and corrected this question. Please now do these 3 questions yourself. All 3 have a square which has an area of 25 centimeters squared, but in each case you need to find the perimeter of that compound shape. Pause the video to do that, press play once you've done it. You should have now worked out the perimeter of each of these compound shapes. Please mark your answers and correct them as I go through these. So if the square has an area of 25 centimeters squared, that means that the length of the square in each of these questions is 5 centimeters. So that means for the first shape, this is 5, this is 5, and this is 5. And also because of this shared side, which is the same as the sides of the square and the sides of the triangle, that means that I also have 5 here and 5 here. So altogether that's 5 sides, each of length 5, 25 centimeters. The next one, that's 5, and that's 5. Then I've got this octagon over here. And again, because of this shared side here, all of these are the same length as well. So that's 5, and 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 that's 5. So altogether, I've got, let's count this carefully, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So altogether, I've got 10 sides, each of length 5 centimeters. 10 times 5, 50 centimeters. Finally, I have the square, each side is 5. I've got this shared side, which shows me, so this over here is shared between the two, which shows me that the hexagon also has sides of length 5, because it's a regular hexagon. So that's 5, that's 5, that's 5, that's 5, and that's 5. Notice these don't look the same length. This side here and this side here do not look the same length, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that it doesn't look the same length because you're told that they are the same length. What word tells you that every single side of that hexagon is the same length? What word tells you that? Say your answer to the video. The word that tells you that every side of the hexagon is the same length is this word over here, regular. It's a regular polygon. Every side has the same length. So let's count the sides. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So altogether we've got 8 sides, each of length 5 centimeters, which altogether makes 40 centimeters. So what we've done is reminded ourselves of the meaning of a regular polygon, that is a multi-sided shape where every side has the same length. And we've looked at finding the perimeter of compound shapes which have a square and a regular polygon attached together. I hope this video was useful. Please like and subscribe for more videos on Key Stage 3 Maths.